Welcome back, baseball fans, as we continue our Legends in the Making playthrough here on Out of the Park Baseball 26. We are entering 1992, the first 2 years of the 1990s. We somehow were able to find ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory as we had two 100-win seasons, and our new rival, the Atlanta Braves, beat us in the LCS both seasons. So we are back for revenge. We have Randy Johnson in our rotation from the beginning at his stellar control of 25. We're going to be sending Jose Rio, who's the Cy Young winner, out there as well. Dennis Martinez, Tom Glavine, and Orel Hershiser we're putting back in the rotation. We're going to see. We might put Larry Christensen back in there, or we might go with Chuck Finley again. It's up in the air. We have Trevor Hoffman getting closer to making his debut as a reliever. Jen Mettens is closer to becoming our everyday center fielder as well. Ray Durham is getting closer, and Rondell White as well. So we actually have more depth as far as star power than I thought. We didn't change anything else really in our lineup. We do have Vince Coleman, Lyman Bostock, they're both going to be, and Joe Carter and Paul O'Neill are all going to be rotating around. Jose Vizcaino, Damian Easley, Ray Sanchez are all going to get shots at second. I'm thinking of playing Molitor at second, even though his defense is atrocious, just so we can get Galarraga possibly to get more playing time at first base. If we don't do it this season, we will next season, because that's when Galarraga, I believe, moved to Colorado, and we'll see those numbers jump. Dave Nielsen is at catcher, as well as BJ Surhoff, so they're going to be competing and rotating quite a bit. But let's take a look at, I forgot to mention that Gene Tennis finally retired last season. He does have a shot at the Hall of Fame. We apparently retired his number after he played about 8-9 seasons with us, and he was just a walk machine, leading the league in walks 3 times. His on-base percentage was really, really good because of that. He had a good batter WAR the whole time as well. Finished with an 81 WAR, 300 home runs, 1,200 RBI, 2,000 hits, and 1,800 walks. In reality, he doubled his walks, he doubled his hits, had 100 something more home runs, 30 more WAR. I mean, he had a little bit longer career by about 8-9 years, but man, he made the most of it. I don't know that he's going to get into the Hall. He's got the jaws and he's got the monitor, but everything else, he never really led things as much. He did get 2 Gold Gloves. Those were both with us. He did get 3 Silver Sluggers, 4 Championship Series, which were they all with us? 77. Yes, they were all with us. So, and a 10-time All-Star. He did quite well. Mike Schmidt also retired. He retired at the age of 42, I think a year after he actually retired, or 1991. In reality, he retired in 1989. So it was fairly close. 548 home runs in real life, almost 1,600 RBIs, 1,500 runs, 2,200 hits, a 98 WAR. In our simulation, he had a 113 WAR and 17 RBIs, 547 home runs, 2,500 hits, 1,700 runs. So he outperformed it. We had a power hitter actually outperform himself without playing for a decade longer, because if we look here, I mean, he didn't really do anything in this last season with the Mets. So that was there. And then we got the Hall of Fame, which would have been Don Sutton and Steve Carlton and Dick Deitz all getting in on their first season. Sutton ended up having 322 wins, a 106 WAR, 3,400 strikeouts, almost 3,500. So he was pretty much accurate. He was only 2-win difference. He didn't even play as long. Played 2 fewer seasons in our run. All for Detroit, except for that last one for Seattle. Won himself 3 Cy Young awards. And Steve Carlton, who had 329 wins, 4,000 strikeouts, and a 102 WAR, while in reality he had 329 wins, 4,100 strikeouts, and a 111 WAR. So again, someone who was really, really close. He played 2 fewer seasons in our run, because after the 2-15 season for Philadelphia, he decided to hang him up and call him quits. Then we had Dick Deitz getting in at 85% of the vote, 2,000 hits, 1,000 RBIs, 1,100 runs, an 83 WAR, which was way better than he did in his short career. But he's one who benefited from those long runs, 66 home runs, 300 RBI. I mean, the guy never played past 1973, and here he played all the way 13 more seasons. And it was after 1973, he was like Gene Tennis, leading the league in walks, a ton, 1,900 walks, even more than Tennis, and he didn't even play the first few years. And that on-base percentage is amazing. Look at all these all-star appearances. What did he have? 11-time All-Stars. 5 times he was the Silver Slugger at catcher. Clete Boyer almost got in on his 5th year. Willie McCovey's running out of time. Jim Bunning did not get in. Joe Niekro did not get in. Well, there we are. Johnny Bench is not going to get in. Jim Brewer might have a shot. Ted Simmons is another catcher who might, but these other guys are getting in. But Fisk and Bench, not going to get in. That's very fascinating. So, speaking of fascinating, let's see how this season plays out. I feel good about the regular season. I don't know if I should or not, but I do feel good about it. We're going to see how things go. It's going to be tough. I think we're going to have some competition. Montreal seems to still be there with Baines and Langford and McGriff. Matt Noakes, I don't know what we're going to get season to season from him, but their pitching is a little rough. They had Rob Beck back in the bullpen. The Cubs, Mike Messina and Pedro Martinez are both there. That's going to be interesting. But do they have the hitting? That I don't know. And the Phillies, they have Griffey, Lofton, Ricky Henderson, Eddie Murray. They definitely have the hitting. They've got Mark Leiter coming over from us. They've got Facero and some others, but I don't know if they have the pitching. I think we have the most complete team. So it's going to be interesting to see. Can we put it together? Oh, Sammy Sosa, not to the power hitting yet of the late 90s. Ripken's there as well, though. Bobby Bonilla, who is the power hitter right now. Tino Martinez, a solid hitter. He's not quite there yet. One last trip around the sun there in the baseball sun with Nolan Ryan. They got Jose Guzman. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see if other teams can put it together. I like ourselves as a complete team. So with that being said, let's jump in and find out how this season's playing out. At the All-Star break, we have arrived, and the first season has been a lot tighter than these standings show. The Mets, I've gone 3-7 the last 10, but the Mets just fell off a cliff for a little bit. We were only a game and a half up just about 3 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden we're 7 games up, sitting at 53-35. The Reds are at 50-37. Our hated rival, the Braves, are 48-39. And the only reason why they're at that low is because at one point when we were 3.5 games back, we got on a tear where we were able to beat the Braves about 6 or 7 times over a 2-week span. So that's good news if we face them in the playoffs, but I'd rather not face them in the playoffs. The Dodgers are also up there. The Reds are in the lead. The Brewers are leading over the Tigers. The Blue Jays are doing a little bit better, 3 games out with their triumvirate of pitchers, and Charles Nagy is up there as well. Their pitching is fantastic. They just are not hitting anything. So they really need Bobby Abreu to come up, but they also don't have anybody else. JT Snow's down there, but yeah, they're a little thin, and Clemens and those guys are probably going to sign somewhere else soon. The Twins are a half game up over the Angels, but it is a tight one with the A's, Mariners, and White Sox all in contention as well. So we are sitting where at the AL, the leaders currently, Darrell Hamilton is hitting .349. McGuire's got 22 home runs. Juan Gonzalez is up there with 17. Charlie Hayes has 62 RBI, beating out Gonzalez and Greg Vaughn. Marquise Grissom with 47 stolen bases. Danny Tartable's got a .979 OPS. Barry Larkin had a .48 WAR. Luis Gonzalez is 20-game hitting streak. Andy Bennis with a .209 ERA. That's by far his best so far. Ed Whitson at 15 wins. David Cohn with 129 strikeouts. John Smoltz is showing up again. If only we could, I wonder if he's if there's any interest whatsoever in trading him away. Nope. So maybe he's like a weaker rotation spot. Worth a shot, right? We've got Mike Henneman with 23 saves along with John Wetland, and Kevin Apier with a 4.2 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it is Griffey. Ken Griffey Jr. has a 353 batting average. Jose Canseco, 25 home runs and 78 RBI. He's also hitting 300, so he's having a heck of a season. Kenny Lofton has 32 stolen bases, along with Paul Molitor, and Ozzie Smith is up there as well. Barry Bonds with a 104.2 OPS. Griffey has a 6.7 WAR and had an 18-game hitting streak. Hershiser is back with a 2.24 ERA, far better than when we moved him to the bullpen last season. Mike Morgan, though, has 12 wins. Nolan Ryan is up there with 11, 3.26 ERA, and 110 strikeouts for probably his swan song last season. Tom Candiotti has 127 strikeouts, barely besting Randy Johnson, who also has 71 walks in 118 innings. Rick Aguilera, Dennis Eckersley, and Greg Olson all have 22 saves. Eckersley is doing better with a 2.41 ERA, and he has 4 wins already compared to his 3 last season, but he's also got 4 losses, which he might pass up last year in that. Candiotti has a 4.2 pitcher WAR. We have the AL and NL All-Star teams ready to go as well. Clemens gets the start for the AL, having a solid year except for the wins because Toronto can't score runs. Lee Smith is in there in the closer role. Brian Downing for Milwaukee at catcher, doing okay. Jack Clark is back. That is quite the resume he's piling up. 15 years. He has Hall of Fame potential, but he's not probably going to get there. We have Frank Thomas also getting a start. Oh my goodness, look at those ratings. The big hurt is here. Ryan Sandberg gets another one at second for Minnesota. And Bagwell is on there as well. No, I mean, Minnesota's just got a lineup that's crazy good. Barry Larkin at short. Shane Mack at left. Kirby Puckett in center. And Danny Tartable in right, beating out Grissom and Justice. In the NL, it would be, hey, Hershiser and Martinez and Rio all make it. But Nolan Ryan, our former one, gets a start again. It's kind of a nod to his career probably as well. Dennis Eckersley gets it at the closer role. Matt Noakes, again, he's kind of just don't know what you're going to get from this guy, but he's doing well. I don't remember him still. Yeah, well, he still hit 22 home runs. His average was dipping, but it'll be interesting if he carries on beyond this season, though. We've got Paul Molitor beating out Wally Joyner at first, so he's getting yet another one added to his resume. He should be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's much higher up there. He got his 2,500th hit, I believe, this season. And again, he's on pace for a 5.4 WAR, much better than last year. He's back closer to his MVP caliber level of hitting, so that's good to see. We've got Edgar Martinez at third, Tony Phillips at second, Sheffield at third, Robin Ventura as well. What a lineup that one is. Ozzie Smith beat out Cal Ripken Jr. It's only his 3rd All-Star appearance. And he's far cry from the Hall of Fame at the moment. His defense is doing wonders, but he's only got 4 gold gloves, so he's going to have to pick it up to make it. Barry Bonds is out there in left. Andy Van Slyke in center. And Griffey in right. Now, I do want to point out one trade I made. Tony Gwynn was on the trading block, so I went and I was able to get him. I traded away Jason Christensen, Vince Coleman, and Ray Sanchez, so we're a little thinner in the middle of the infield. We did sign him to a 9-year contract extension. He's going to be a mainstay. He's not going to add power, but we've been winning it without power. So I thought, what better hitter than to get Tony Gwynn in there, especially in the 1994 season whenever we have that strike. I want to see how that thing spans out. He was chasing 400. Matt Williams was chasing 60 home runs. I'm going to have those 2 guys back-to-back in the lineup. That's exciting to see what's going to happen. And hopefully things are going to turn out well for us this season. We make it back to the playoffs, I'm hoping. Only this time, not get stopped and get ourselves back into the World Series and hopefully pick up another win as well, because we're trying to chase down the historical Yankees. Not in this one. They've only won, I think, 1 in this one, but we're trying to beat them down. So let's go to the end of the season and see how 1992 plays out. Well, it's time to recap the 1992 season, and we finished strong, 10 games in first place, 95 wins, thankfully not going up against the Braves, as they fell 3 games behind, fell to the Reds. The Twins bashing the ball, apparently, getting 101 wins, beating out the A's by 7 games, and the Blue Jays squeaking by with their pitching to finish 2 games up over the Brewers and the Tigers. Now, we went to the playoffs. League Championship Series, we swept the Reds. I almost didn't have Randy Johnson pitching in the rotation, but I moved Martinez out for him, and I'm glad I did because he threw a no-hitter against the Reds. Helped us get to the World Series, where we fell in 7 games to the Blue Jays. We took the first 2. Hershiser here, a 4-hit shutout with a home run. It was 3 RBIs. He did it all himself. I thought this is going to be great. We're going to actually do it. But then we lost 9-6, lost 5-0, lost 4-2, squeaking by in Game 6. And then in 11 innings, we dropped the Game 7 deciding game. Eckersley got knocked around in the 11th for 4 runs. Johnson was phenomenal with 13 strikeouts. So that was great. But the Blue Jays, with that pitching, put it together. First championship. We are now a little bit behind the pace. The Yankees had 22 World Series at this point, I believe. I think they've won 5 since the 90s. So we are a little behind, and it's definitely getting tougher. So let's look at the league leaders at the end of the season. Barry Larkin hit .321 for the batting title in the AL. McGuire, 41 home runs. That brings his career total already up to 234. Greg Vaughn with 107 RBI. Marquise Grissom, 71 stolen bases. Chris Hoyles, 897 OPS. He played for Baltimore, I believe. He was a Baltimore player. Not the worst if we had to pick him up. He would not be that bad if he comes available. Let's shortlist him, because he's somebody as a catcher might be serviceable if we're in need of one. Barry Larkin with a 9-0 batter WAR. Luis Gonzalez had a 20-game hitting streak. In the pitching side of things, Terry Mulholland had a 2.28 ERA. Ed Whitson won 25 games for Oakland while hitting a 3.33 ERA and a 113 strikeout. David Cone had 222 strikeouts, beating Juan Guzman by 1. He also won 10 games, and that's it. Maddux did get up to 20. Man, the Blue Jays offense is just, and the defense was just letting them down. Mike Henneman had 41 saves, and Roger Clemens a 7-1 pitcher WAR, possibly a Cy Young. In the NL, it was Ken Griffey Jr. hitting .333, barely besting Paul Molitor, who is becoming a free agent because of his defense. We're letting him go. He's still got some good seasons left in him. He did in real life at this point. But it's time for us to transition to Galarraga at first instead. And there's another reason we're letting him go we'll get to in just a minute. Jose Canseco had 43 home runs. Again, him and McGuire leading the leagues. Canseco also had 136 RBI. Lofton with 49 stolen bases. Smith and Molitor 48 and 47 right behind him. Bonds with a 104.9 OPS and a 9.9 batter WAR, while Bobby Bonilla had a 20-game hitting streak. ERA title goes to Mike Morgan at 2.59, besting Jose Rijo. Mike Morgan with 20 wins. Randy Johnson with 225 strikeouts. He's about to set his career on a trajectory that's going to be to the moon. Greg Olson with 38 saves, beating Eckersley, who's another one we may end up losing. I don't know. Melito Perez with a 6.6 WAR. Who is this guy? He had a 5.8 WAR this season, just out of nowhere. 2.87 ERA, 247 innings, 50 innings better than any other time. Never heard of him. Who did he pitch for? The White Sox and Yankees. So he put it together for the Yankees. Learn something new every day. When we look at our lineup, we did finish rough in the hitting, better in the pitching. We will also see that Nolan Ryan has retired, as we figured he would. The draft is now getting ready. We'll come back to these guys in just a little bit. The one I care about is Scott Rowland and Billy Wagner, and that's about it in this draft. There's decent players, just not ones that I'm interested in. They're the ones I'm hoping for, but we won't get them. When we look at the awards before we move on, Ken Griffey Jr. won the batting crown. Oh, batting crown. I thought that said triple crown for a little bit. Yeah, of course he didn't win triple crown. In the AL, the gold gloves went to Ben McDonald at pitcher, Butch Weiniger at catcher, Mark Grace at first, Sandberg at second. The Cubs players who aren't playing for the Cubs did it. John Castino at third, Barry Larkin at short, and the outfield was Joe Orsulak, Otis Nixon, and Larry Walker. In the NL, Alex Fernandez gets it at pitcher, Rick Wilkins at catcher, Wally Joyner at first, Mariano Duncan at second, Tim Wallach at third, Mike Benjamin at short, and the outfield was Bonds, Lofton, and Griffey. That is a heck of an outfield. The AL reliever of the year goes to Lee Smith, who had 38 saves and a 2.42 ERA, picking up his second one of those. He does have some Hall of Fame potential. In the NL, it was Eckersley winning his fourth one of those. He has more Hall of Fame potential, apparently, but he struggled this last season so much. Doug Jones picked up 3. We did have a chance. Pittsburgh offered him to us in a trade. Maybe that things would have worked out differently in the World Series if he were at the back end of the bullpen. Silver Sluggers in the AL go to Chris Hoyles, Frank Thomas at first, Ryan Sandberg at second, Bagwell at third, Larkin at short, Moises Alou in left, Reggie Sanders in center, Marquise Grissom in right, and Ron Gant at the DH. While in the NL, it was Omar Olivares at pitcher, Matt Noakes at catcher, again having another good season, Paul Molitor at first, Tony Phillips at second, Sheffield at third, Ozzie Smith at short, Bonds in left. Ozzie Smith picking up his first one. Bonds in left, Dykstra in center, and Griffey in right. I don't like seeing Griffey playing right. Rookie of the year goes to Marquise Grissom, unanimously at Baltimore. 297 batting average, 71 stolen bases, led the league, a 7.2 WAR as well. It's well deserved there. While Lofton won it unanimously in the NL, an 8.5 WAR, 311 batting average, 99 runs, almost 200 hits. So good job for him. Cy Young went to Terry Mulholland, beating out Roger Clemens. So his 20-win season, 2.28 ERA crown did get it. In the NL, it was Mike Morgan beating out Rijo. I don't know. I think Jose Rijo may be a little bit more dominant, but he didn't pitch as many innings either. He was 40 innings shy. Larkin won the AL MVP. Barry Larkin, good job. I think he won one in real life. I think just one. And Ken Griffey Jr. won it in the NL, first of probably many, but it's going to be him and Bonds bouncing back and forth. Opposite leagues in real life, not this time around. So let's dive into the first year player draft. We are drafting 27th. The mock draft has us taking Kelly Wunsch. I don't know. I'd rather have Alan Bennis, even though he wasn't all that great either. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to get Scott Rowland as much as I would like to believe that we would. We're just not. So let's take a look at the list. Derek Lee's out there. There are some prominent names. Paul LaDuca, he was a fantasy guy again. Phil Nevin, some of these are going to be serviceable, but we'll see. Cleveland's going to take Billy Wagner first. Derek Lee goes to the Yankees. The Royals take Jermaine Dye. I'm guessing Texas takes. Oh, they did not take Rowland. They took Kevin Millwood. Not a bad pick. The Astros get Paul LaDuca. The Padres get Melvin Mora, as they want to just continue to tease me and think Rowland's going to be there in 20 more picks. Bill Mueller to the Expos. Phil Nevin to the Cubs. Oh, here he goes. Nope. Guillermo Mota to the Red Sox at number 9. 10, Mark Loretta to the Giants. And there goes Rowland to the Mets. So they have Chipper Jones and Scott Rowland. They don't need both of those. We need to try for a trade. They've got Giambi as well. And Brian Giles. Not bad. But they do not need both of those third basemen. Maybe they'll trade one of them. I highly doubt it, but you never know. Cleveland's going to take Glendon Rush. The Dodgers get Raul Ibanez. Not bad for that late. The White Sox, Steve Klein. Mark Valdez to the Phillies. Jeffrey Hammonds to the Orioles. Kevin Millar to the Brewers. Tigers get Frank Catalanato and Kelly Wunsch to the A's, and Jay Powell to the Pirates. Torrey Hunter to the Blue Jays. Man, he slipped way down there. Scott Iyer to the Mariners. California gets Ramiro Mendoza. Preston Wilson to the Braves. Richie Sexton to the Reds. Tommy Phelps to the A's. We are recommending to take John Thompson. I have no idea who he is. Not going to touch him. Charles Johnson. There. He had a heck of an arm on him. Couple power seasons. Right now, he's my pick. Because he can play defense. Power. There's just nobody out here for us. Brian Anderson, Alan Bennis, Felix Heredia. I mean, these are names I recognize, but none of them stand out. Espanian. Let's go with Charles Johnson. Solid catcher back there in case Nielsen doesn't pan out. Detroit takes John Thompson. The Twins, Jay Whittisick, Alan Bennis to the Marlins. And, I forgot to point out, we have an upcoming expansion draft happening as well that we're going to have to check back in on. So I'm going to wrap up this and let's jump to the expansion draft. And we are ready for the expansion draft. The Colorado Rockies and Florida Marlins are coming in. I forgot that Larry Christensen also got hurt right before the playoffs. He's out for a whole year. So that didn't help us in the playoffs at the back end of the bullpen in the World Series either. I have to leave available quite a few players here. Eckersley's available. There's several others that are out there. Bostock I left available because he's aged. He's still really good. Ellis Burks is out there. There's going to be some Eckersley, Christensen are both out there because I just don't have room. I have Kenny Rogers is out there. Again, didn't have room to keep him. I saw Al Leiters out there. Bobby Witt. There are some good players. Ron Gant, Eddie Murray has been made available. Matt Noakes, after the few seasons he's been having. Dave Winfield's out there at 41. Unfortunately, Gaylord Perry isn't. I think it was Gaylord. No, Charlie Huff. He pitched for the Marlins. He was like their opening day first pitcher, if I remember right. Well, let's see who the first few are. Colorado's going to take Steve Finley. Oh, Steve Finley was available at 27 years old. Didn't he go to the Marlins, actually? Orlando Merced goes to the Marlins. Jeff Rebele, Stan Belinda, Bernard Gilkey, Gil Heredia. Let's see. Are we going to lose any of our players? I'm assuming we will. Matt Noakes went. Jose Akindo. Al Leiter. Ellis Burks. Kenny Rogers went to the Rockies. I will shortlist him just so we can keep track of him. So we did lose Kenny Rogers. He wasn't breaking in. Walt Weiss went out there. Jose Mesa at 26. And we kept Bostock. We kept Bostock and we kept Eckersley. That's awesome. Good for us. Let's go check at, before we wrap this this season up to get ready for 1993, let's take a look at the look at this. Greg Maddux, he did not show up on the top players that were released. Oh, Draveck's out there too. We're going to have to make a run at Maddux. $7 million demand. That's huge. Cecil Fielder's out there along with Molitor. Alan Trammell's out there. Still getting it done. Ken Griffey Jr. again. Vince Coleman's back out there. We could maybe get him. Steve Christmas, so we can have some Christmas in July promotions at the ballpark. Decisions. When we look at the money, we have $11 million available, $10 million for extensions. That's fine, but not if we spend $7 million on Maddux. whenever we look at the salaries, Martinez is coming up with an option. Hershiser's almost done. Bostock's almost. Eckersley's almost. Matt Williams is going into arbitration, though, and so is Randy Johnson. We have to sign both of those guys, but we need... Oh, Maddux would be great to get. So, well, I'm going to go through the rest of this offseason and get us ready for 1993 as I rebuild the team and see what we've got. Well, it's that time once again. We are in opening day 1993. Going up against the San Francisco Giants, we are hoping to continue our strong regular season run, but this time maybe, just maybe, break that World Series drought and break through again. So we will be sending out, as our lineup, we have Lyman Bostock in left, Ozzie Smith at short, Tony Gwynn in right. Galarraga is going to take over for Molitor at first, Molitor, of course, went to the Pirates because they like to steal our guys. Nolan Ryan first, and now Molitor. Paul O'Neill's going to be in center for now. Matt Williams at third, Dave Nielsen at catcher, and Damian Easley at second. We also have B.J. Surhoff, who's going to be playing, Joe Girardi, who's going to be playing, and Jim Edmonds as well, who's going to be playing. Might need to get another infielder up. Haven't looked at my minor leagues quite yet as who's going to be the backup, but we'll have somebody. And the rotation, we did go and sign Greg Maddux to a contract. We were able to get him in free agency. He's going to be followed by Randy Johnson, Jose Rio, Tom Glavine, and Dennis Martinez. Eckersley's going to be closing for us again. Christensen will not be pitching for us. He's still out for 7 months with a torn elbow ligament, unfortunately. Trevor Hoffman's going to be ready to go. He won't be his strong self, but he'll be ready to take over Eckersley soon enough. Chuck Finley's in the bullpen. Jose Batista is up here. And we also we have Oro Hershiser. Jamie Moyer is going to be there. And we signed John Franco for the bullpen. So I like the additions we've made. I think it's going to help us maybe go over the top. Even though our offense isn't going to be as strong, our pitching, starting pitching especially, is going to be amazing. As far as the Hall of Fame goes, Tom Seaver and Burt Blyleven both got in on their first years. So Blyleven had a fantastic year. We always saw him up at the top at WAR. I mean, he led it 4 times, whipped 3 times. Strikeouts twice. He had 3,600 total, 278 wins, as opposed to in reality he had 287 wins and 3,700 strikeouts with a 108 WAR. So he was spot on. His career span, everything ended up being roughly the same. Seaver, always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it came to the Cy Young. All those all-stars, but Koufax was always beating him. It was 334 wins, 4,200 strikeouts, and a 114 WAR compared to his 311 wins, 3,600 strikeouts, and 106 WAR. So he roughly the same amount of wins and WAR, but the strikeouts, he had far more in our reality, even though he pitched for basically the same amount of time. So that's fascinating that he was able to rack up that many more, probably because in 77, 81, and 82, I'm guessing, yeah, he had far more strikeouts than he did in real life in those seasons. So that's where we stand, and I'm excited for this season, and I want to see how it plays out, especially as we're in the 90s and we're reaching peak Griffey, and we've got Maddux and Johnson and these guys, and Galarraga now. We have the Rockies and the Marlins now playing. We're getting close to the strike-shortened season of 94, so I'm really interested to see how the whole season will play out. Will they like Matt Williams make that run and hit 60 home runs, or will it just kind of cap him and everybody's numbers just fall flat at some point? So let's find that out by going ahead and getting to the All-Star break of 1993 to see what happens in this season. At the All-Star break, we are in the toughest fight we've been in for the pennant in quite a while, as the Phillies are 2.5 games up on us at 56 and 33. The Reds are 5 games up on the Dodgers. The Angels are 5 up in the AL West over the Twins, so those slugging Twins don't have the pitching to keep up with the Angels, who are doing quite well behind Schilling and Mulholland, Bobby Witt. They got Delino DeShields, not a lot of power. Larkin, Oleru, they got some hitters, just not the power to go with it. While the Twins have the power, they just don't have the pitcher. Outside of Vicente Palacios is doing great. And the Orioles are besting the Blue Jays, who are Madduxless. They've got Clemens. They did sign Drabek to replace Maddux, who's not what he used to be. They have Nagy, they have Cone still, and Tom Gordon, who's starting for them and doing fantastic, it looks like, at 10-2, but they don't have a closer. Interesting management move. So let's see, as far as the leaders go, Dwight Smith is hitting .350 for the Yankees, who are in dead last. I tell you, the Yankees have done absolutely nothing in this run. They've made the playoffs 3 times in the beginning of the 60s, and that's it. 61, 62, and 63. They won 100 games 4 years straight. Outside of that, they have been atrocious. That is fascinating. They barely even get above 500. Huh. Anyways, Mark McGwire has 33 home runs and 83 RBI. 33 home runs at the break. Wow. Marquise Grissom with 41 stolen bases. McGwire has a 103.3 OPS. Frank Thomas with his 22 home runs and 320 batting average is not too far behind. John Valentin has a 4-1 batter WAR. For Cleveland, he's doing well at shortstop. Darrell Hamilton and Devin White have 22-game hitting streaks. Kurt Schilling with a 2.20 ERA and 13 wins. But Juan Guzman has 115 strikeouts, barely beating out Smoltz and Clemens. Schilling's not too far behind with 99 strikeouts. Jeff Montgomery with 24 saves, and Schilling with the 3.8 pitcher WAR tied with teammate Terry Mulholland. In the NL, it is Paul Molitor again, a Pirate, reminding us that maybe we let go of him too soon, as he is hitting .366, going for another batting title. He already has, how many does he have? He has 2 batting titles to go with those MVPs. I mean, he had a heck of a run with us, so we can't really complain too much. Barry Bonds has 35 home runs, better than McGwire. Even Matt Williams has 27 for us, and 96 RBI at the break. Kenny Lofton is at 46 stolen bases. Barry Bonds with a 1.216 OPS, besting Griffey and Williams. Bonds has a 6.3 batter WAR. Kenny Lofton's way up there. He's doing really, really well. Carlos Baerga, that's a name we haven't seen yet. Love it, though. 23-game hitting streak. Alex Fernandez with a 2.35 ERA and 13 wins, but only 83 strikeouts, as Randy Johnson is setting the tone with 126. He has a 4.06 ERA. Rio has a 3.81, and Maddux only a 3.33. Our pitching's been a little lackluster this season. Eckersley with a 23 saves, and Reynolds with a 4.0. Shane Reynolds with a 4.0 pitcher WAR with Maddux right behind. And I say we've been a little disappointing. It's been getting better. We're 4th in ERA. The bullpen's 5th. 2nd in runs against. The things are starting to shape up a little better. I did put Lyman Bostock in center field in place of Paul O'Neill. Edmonds isn't quite ready yet to be hitting at that spot yet permanently. It's the 370 is a little bit of a mirage. He's not quite there. He'll be ready. Bostock was on the bench to start, but he was tearing it up, and Paul O'Neill was struggling, but now O'Neill's starting to find his stride. So things are leveling out for us and looking a little bit better. We need to look at the All-Star rosters. I accidentally deleted them from my mailbox. So we are going to see the rosters for the AL. We have at pitcher Kurt Schilling, Randy St. Clair in the relief. At catcher, Mickey Tettleton, one of 4 that made it. Mike Piazza showing up. That is his first one. He's not yet eligible for arbitration. He's a ways away. McGwire at first, no surprise. Thomas also at first. Lou Whitaker at second. Barry Larkin at short. Geronimo Pena hitting .304 at third. Lots of 300 hitters here. Moises Alou, left field. David Justice in center. And Marquise Grissom in right. Again, more and more 300 hitters. That is a lot. In the NL, Maddux gets the start at the pitcher spot. Mussina and Melito Perez for the Cubs. They have 2 going. Eckersley at the closer position, having a much more solid Eckersley-like year the past couple years, even though he got roughed up in the World Series. Matt Noakes is back there. He's got 10 home runs and he's hitting .315, so apparently he's not done yet. Mike Stanley, though, gets the start. Paul Molitor gets to start over John Kruk, another one of our former guys who's hitting 358. This is an insane hitting year for average. Carlos Baerga is hitting 342. Matt Williams at third. And Ozzie Smith at short, hitting 302 himself. The Wizard of Oz, only 4 gold gloves. Shocking to me. He still has close to the numbers to get in the Hall, but I'm just shocked he hasn't had more. We have in the outfield then Bonds in left, Lofton in center, and Griffey in right still. I hate that he's in right. It just drives me crazy. Who is playing center field for them? Oh, Kenny Lofton. That's why. They have Lofton, Griffey, and Henderson. Well, okay. And Eddie Murray still. Shane Reynolds is, wow, they're having a good pitching season as well. Let's take one look. So Albert Bell of the Dodgers did beat our man Matt Williams 12-11 in the home run derby. Unfortunately, came up shy again. I think that's the second time losing it. But that's where we're at the All-Star break, and we are going to see out the end of the 1993 season, hopefully with us reaching the playoffs, but I don't know. The Phillies, this may be their year. They've been chomping at the bit. We dropped the last couple years. It's going to be up to our pitching, and can the offense find enough to get things going for us, because we are struggling 5th in runs scored, even though we're 1st in batting average. We don't get on base other than that. We don't have Paul Molitor there setting the tone, and we're not hitting the long ball. So we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully, we'll find our way up on the mountaintop. Well, that season didn't end up as well as we thought we would. And because there's going to be a shift in realignment in divisions, we don't get to see the actual standings. But the Phillies beat us by a lot. We finished in second. The Phillies had 108 wins. We had 90. They went up against the Braves, who were in the West, who won with 87 wins, barely beating out the Giants and the Dodgers. In the AL, it was the Orioles going up against the Twins, and we ended up, as far as the playoffs go, you can see it was the Twins against the Phillies, and the Twins in 7 games were able to knock off the Phillies, who had an amazing season. But the Twins finally put all that offense. I mean, you look here, it was 1st in runs scored, 1st in runs against versus 1st in runs scored, 2nd in runs against. So there was the 2 deserving teams. Larry Walker got the MVP. Twins pick up their 4th championship, first one since 1958. And the Phillies, surprisingly, still have not won a single one, which is shocking to me. But let's take a look at the league leaders. In the AL, it was John Olerud hitting 342 for California. Mark McGwire had 49 home runs. He slowed down quite a bit. Jeff Bagwell had 144 RBI. Marquise Grissom with 78 stolen bases. Thomas had a 104 OPS. John Olerud a 7.2 batter WAR. Jeff Conine, Darrell Hamilton, and Devon White all had 22-game hitting streaks. Curt Schilling did hold on the ERA title, 292. And he had 21 wins, but Roger Clemens had 208 strikeouts. Schilling did get up to 164, not anywhere close enough to get the Triple Crown. Brian Harvey, 43 stolen saves, along with Jeff Montgomery, and Curt Schilling had a 6.5 pitcher WAR. In the NL, it was our former player, John Kruk, hitting 362 along with 106 RBI. Besting Tony Gwynn, who hit 358. And finally, that's the Tony Gwynn we thought we traded for. Barry Bonds had 53 home runs. Matt Williams got 46 for us, and Griffey with 40. Matt Williams ended up with 161 RBI, and Kenny Lofton had 71 stolen bases. No wonder Philadelphia with him and Griffey, and they're good. We got Bonds with a 1.129 OPS and Lofton with a 9.1 batter WAR. Tony Gwynn had the longest hitting streak with 29. Alex Fernandez, ERA title 2.51 for those Philadelphia Phillies, who also had Shane Reynolds, who were third. I mean, such a dominant team this year. Reynolds also had a 21-game win mark. Randy Johnson had 225 strikeouts. Rod Beck with 37 saves, and Greg Maddux with a 7.5 pitcher WAR. Oral Hershiser retired this season for us after a solid career. And we have the awards to check out. And then we'll take a look at the first year player draft, which this one is loaded with some top talent. So let's start with the Gold Gloves. In the AL, it was Jack McDowell at pitcher, Butch Weiniger at catcher, Mark Grace at first, Robbie Thompson at second, Scott Fletcher at third, shortstop went to Jay Bell, and the outfield was Brett Butler, Dave Henderson, and Jesse Barfield. Dave Henderson at 35 picks it up. In the NL, it was Alex Fernandez adding yet another notch. He's got to be getting some MVP votes and some Cy Young votes, I would imagine. Kurt Manwaring, John Kruk at first, Jose Oquendo at second. Third base goes to King Caminiti, Mike Benjamin at short, Harold Baines in left, Lofton in center, and Dave Martinez in right. AL reliever of the year went to Jeff Russell, unanimously with his 35 saves, 1.27 ERA, and 8-2 record for the Tigers. In the NL, it was Jim Otten with 10 first place votes, barely beating out Rusty Meacham, who had 12 first place votes. Otten's 39 strikeouts, 27 walks, only 52 innings, 2.42 ERA, and 12 saves. Beat out someone who threw 87 innings. That's crazy to me. I would have thought Eckersley and Beck would have been up there farther. In the AL, Silver Sluggers go to Darren Dalton at catcher, John Olerud at first, Delino DeShields at second, Geronimo Pena at third, John Valentine at short, Tim Raines in left, David Justice in center, Wes Chamberlain in right, and Mark McGwire as the DH. No surprise there with McGwire. David Justice had a heck of a season, though. 6.6 WAR. In the NL, it was John Smiley at pitcher, Mike Stanley at catcher, John Kruk at first, Baerga at second. Matt Williams picks it up for third, slugging his way there, who just signed a new contract finally. Travis Fryman at short, Barry Bonds in left, Lofton in center, and Ken Griffey Jr. in right. Griffey, you don't want to be playing right. Actually, maybe he does. He's got that extension signed too. Man, he's locked up with Philly. In the Rookie of the Year goes to Troy Neal, who Eric Young got one first place vote, but Troy Neal with 124 RBIs, 28 home runs, 291 average, picks that one up with 27 first place votes. In the NL, it was Shane Reynolds with 22 for the Phillies, having third place in ERA, 21-9 record, 165 strikeouts, beating out Al Martin, almost hitting 100 RBI, getting a 300 batting average for Houston. In the AL, Cy Young went to Curt Schilling, Vicente Palacios, and Kevin Appier both got a first place vote. None for Clemens that time, who is out for 6 months with an elbow problem. But the good thing is he'll be back fairly early in the season. And Shane Reynolds, not only Rookie of the Year, best Greg Maddux, even though he had 2 fewer first place votes. He beat him by a point. Wow. And Reynolds, what a season for him. John Olerud picks up the MVP in the AL, as well as his batting title. And in the NL, it is Barry Bonds, who unanimously wins his second MVP, beating out Griffey and Lofton. Lofton is just like having an amazing run here at the beginning of his season. So in real life, he started off pretty hot in real life too. I didn't realize he was that good. I mean, I always knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that on top of things. Look at this WAR, though. That is insane. He's scoring so many runs. Wow. Let's take a look at so in arbitration, we are going to lose Lyman Bostock, Dennis Eckersley, and Dennis Martinez to free agency. When we look at the first year player draft, though, you will see we got A-Rod, Noma Garcia Parra. Had to try the Noma. I can't do Boston. Sorry to all those who are in Boston watching. Paul Konerko, Vlad is out there. David Ortiz. This is a strong top of the draft. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any of those. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at the upcoming free agents. Ooh, it's going to be Bonds. Bonds is doing it. Is this when he moved to San Francisco? It is. I wasn't a fan of the guy necessarily. Personally, a bit prickly, but man, talent-wise, you can't deny it. Fred McGriff, Palmeiro, Ron Gant, Bostock, Wally Joyner, Steinbach, who has had solid seasons for the Dodgers. Kirby Puckett, Candiotti, Doug Jones, Brian Harper. That's a look at our first year player draft now and see where we're at. We're drafting 21st. Expected to take Bob Howry. So let's take a look at this draft. So Keith Folk is out there. John Rocker running in from the bullpen. Chris Carpenter is one I like to have. Bartolo Colon, I forgot he was out there. Chan-Ho Park, Darren Dreifert. Those were all solid pitchers. At times, anyway. Sidney Ponson, it was one of those. He was on my fantasy team often thinking he was going to do better than he ended up doing. As far as batters go, we got all the ones mentioned. Trot Nixon, Ben Grieve had some solid, decent seasons. Scott Podsednik, Jose Guillen, AJ Przinsky's out there. All right, well, let's see who goes first. And to the White Sox, I'm going to imagine it is A-Rod. The Yankees, who continue to just stink despite these picks, takes Nomar Garcia-Parra. Oh, that's another ironic one. From Beantown to the Yankees. Kansas City gets David Ortiz. Keith Folk goes to the Brewers. The Padres get Paul Konerko. The Mets, Javier Vasquez. Chris Carpenter goes to the Mariners. Boston takes the Red Guerrero. Texas gets John Rocker. The Pirates, Travis Miller. Houston gets Kelvin Escobar. Fernando Tatis to the Expos. Cubs, Scott Stewart. Bob Howry to the Tigers. The Reds, Carl Pavano. Luis Castillo to the Giants. The Dodgers get Matt Clement, another solid one. Rafael Betancourt to the Guardians. Atlanta gets Trot Nixon and Placido Polanco to the Blue Jays. They say we should take Carlos Lee. That is not a bad pick. Quite the slugger for his time. But didn't he play first? No, he was outfield until really late. Then he got to first. So he would be a good solid outfielder for us. Oh, no. Andrew Jones. Totally forgot. Much, much better because of the defense. Andrew Jones is going to be where we go with this one. Unless there's some pitcher that I forgot that's out there too. Oh, there's Colon. Bartolo Colon. We got to go with... we're going to go with Jones. So Andrew Jones, there we go. That's a win. Oakland's going to end up with Carlos Lee. California gets Bartolo Colon. Chan-Ho Park goes to the Orioles. The Twins, Orlando Cabrera. Scott Podsednik goes to the Phillies. The Rockies get Todd Walker. And the Marlins wrap up round one with Jay Payton. So that's going to wrap up this episode. I'm going to go through the rest of the draft, get ourselves ready. And next episode, we'll go through 1994, the strike-shortened season. But we get to see how it plays out over the course of 162 games instead. We also have 1995. I'm going to try to make some signings. We will have a new realignment with a wild card position. So that's going to change things because we would have won our division by 6 games with our record. I think this gives us a much better shot to get in the playoffs. I'm excited for that. Especially with the way the Phillies are going. It's going to be nice to not have to get beat by them necessarily because they ran away with it, and I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. The Braves are going to be hurting if Bonds goes elsewhere, which he might end up with us. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Come back on the next episode. Let's continue this march on through history as we rewrite it with legends in the making, and we will see you on the next one. So until then, take care and join us back.